You've seen then our first country ambassador format. The country ambassadors, as mentioned before, basically should give you an insight into ecosystems there, financial opportunities, investment opportunities, and entrepreneurship. We'll be seeing a few others throughout the day, but now it is my pleasure to greet Michael Vaz to our call. Michael, I believe, is based in Singapore at the moment, so he's also a bit further on in the day. At the Lucerne Business School, Lucerne School of Business, where I work, I've had the opportunity of working with Michael very recently, just in May, on the 5th of May of 2020. We had Michael in as a TEDx speaker. So our school runs a TEDx event, and Michael was one of our speakers there. So hello again, Michael.
Hi, Douglas. How you doing?
Doing very well. How about yourself? How are things in Singapore?
Very good, actually. We're coming out of the circuit breaker at the moment, the second circuit breaker phase, and we're actually, you can see signs of everything opening up, and so that's a good thing. That's a really good thing to get everybody, you know, people, and it's Singapore, so people are on the street already, and I think the government's kind of prepping with the whole, let's pace ourselves, you know, you keep people locked up for about a couple of months. That's what's going to happen, right? People are going to be eager to get out.
That's right, especially it's springtime, it's warm weather, summertime coming up. People want to get out and do things, enjoy their newfound freedom. Great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Michael, I'll have a few seconds to actually do a proper introduction. So as I said, good to see you again. Michael Vaz, for those of you who don't know him, is the Vice President of Learning and Development for the Accor Group in Singapore. Michael has served in global, regional, and corporate leadership roles across a variety of global companies, and he's also moved with his family to a variety of international locations. And so today he's going to be telling us about checking your BS. Now, what the BS actually stands for, you will be finding out in a few minutes, but he's been invited today to talk a lot about mindset, which is an area of his expertise. And so, Michael, I believe if your presentation is ready, we can hand it over to you. Michael Vaz, check your BS, a mindset for success.
Thank you so much, Douglas. I just want to make sure that, I just want to check, can everybody see my screen at the moment? I just want to make sure.
We've got a picture of, we've got your first slide with a blue background and a young child with large glasses from the 1980s.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Thanks, Douglas. What a great introduction. Thank you very much. So I just want to make sure that you can see my slides, right? Because I'm in already presenter mode.
Yes, you can see it, and you can begin your presentation anytime.
Perfect. Thank you. We've got a couple of minutes before. Can I just launch right into it then?
Yes, please do, Michael. It's all yours. Perfect. The floor is yours.
Thanks so much. Well, thank you, Douglas, once again. And to everybody here, just once again, thank you so much for being here. I can see quite a few people kind of tuned in. So I'm really excited to speak to you today. I look after learning and development with Accor, and as Douglas said, I was very blessed to be doing to do my first ever TEDx with an event that him and his team organized at the Hochschule Lucerne about a month ago. And Axel, I connected with Axel at that TED event, and he said, you know, and he said it would be great to kind of come onto this forum and speak to you today. I'm already inspired by what I've heard today, so I want to thank, you know, just thank you for being, you know, for being here and investing your own time. I do believe that every time you step up and you invest your own time, you always get back, and you're then able to give as well. So in my capacity as a vice president of learning and development, I've been in learning and development for about 17 years now, and have had an incredible time with Accor as well for the last 7 of those years. And what I'm going to talk about today is just kind of first, before I even launch into the presentation, give you a little bit about why this might be beneficial to yourself as entrepreneurs listening in, or people that are starting an entrepreneurial journey, or people that are looking to spark ideas in entrepreneurs, you know, and create innovative ideas for their countries and their economies in the future. What a noble mission. Accor itself has an entrepreneur at the helm. I'm not going to lie to you. Our CEO, Sébastien Bazin, is absolutely such a massive entrepreneurial spirit. And over the last 5 or 6 years, Accor has moved kind of drastically from being a sleeping giant of a corporation to embracing 3 keywords for our leadership. We call it entrepreneurial, collaborative, and enabling leadership. So we've chosen to build our leadership model, our entire leadership model, on these 3 words. And can you believe entrepreneurial is one of them? And what we've done is, over the last couple of years, we put about close to 300 of our leaders, of our top very senior leaders, in every single region through a program called Leadership in Motion. And today what I want to share with you are possibly some results from there, some learning from there, some experiments conducted there, some takeaways from there. So I really hope that the content resonates with you, and then you can pop some questions in, and if we have time, we'll deal with that later. Why do we choose entrepreneurial when we're typically a hotel company? Well, interestingly, the journey we've been on has led us from being a hospitality, a hotel company, to investing in tech, to investing in platforms, to investing in being a provider for other brands. So it's not just our own brands and our hotels. So we've embarked, we've hired entrepreneurs, we've partnered with entrepreneurs, we've launched leadership programs that partner as well in parts with entrepreneurs. So going and visiting startups and incubators and having people spend time with entrepreneurs, connecting with them in the local community. So it's been such a cool journey that hopefully it'll really resonate with you. Today I wanted to talk really about a mindset for yourself, something that originates from these programs that I spoke about and our partnership with entrepreneurs. We had a lot of entrepreneurs come in and speak at these programs, so we'll relate to some of that, but I'm not going to obviously speak to you about something that you already know about. What I want to speak to you today is about mindset. As you can see on screen, I kind of codified BS because a lot of people use that word very easily in leadership as well, right? Saying, "Oh, don't believe your BS," or leave your BS at the door. So I wanted to bring that into a very positive context today and call it your belief systems. All right. So whenever I say the words BS today, let's go with a very positive way of referring to it as your belief systems. Now, what are your belief systems? Just very quickly launch into it. Your belief systems is everything that you believe. It's simple, right? Let's not complicate it any more than it is. It's everything that you believe and you've allowed yourself to believe about yourself. Why? I want you to kind of think about what I said just now. And now what I want you to refer to is your BS represents, or your belief system represents, anything you've allowed to enter your mind. Now that could be a thought that you've had. It could be a thought you've had about a particular topic. But what's really remarkable about this BS, these belief systems, is they're built on neural pathways. So every time you have an idea about anything, your brain creates a neural pathway. The more you think about that subject, it enforces it. The pathway gets stronger and stronger until it just becomes the way you operate. Now, what's a sign that you have the right belief systems? It's very simple. I want you right now, in this moment, to think about any area of your life where you're not having the results you want. Did you hear that? So just think about any results. Now, that could be relationships. That could be you meeting with clients. You're not very good at meeting with clients, or you feel like you're not very good with meeting with clients. It could be, and I want you to think about any area of your life, maybe your strengths, your weaknesses, some areas where you think, oh, I could be better there. I could be a better communicator when I step up and speak and present and pitch my ideas. Or I could be a better listener. I'm just not a very good listener. I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about, where do you think these beliefs came from? Obviously, you allowed yourself to believe something about yourself in this area. That's what I want to put to you today. So I hope that you resonate with it. And what I want to remind you is, these beliefs have been building, these neural pathways have been building since you were a child. So if you, let's take a very easy example. I meet people all the time that tell me, I'm not so good with numbers. And then I go, well, who told you that? Well, I wasn't so good with numbers in college, and my teachers would give me projects I wouldn't do so well. What's really interesting is we find that as we delve a bit deeper, and I'll invite you to delve a little bit deeper today, into any area of your life where you're not having the success you want. And then think, what have I allowed myself to believe about myself off that area of my life? So if it's finances, I'm not so good at finances. What have I allowed myself to believe about myself in the area of finance? If I'm not so good at speaking, or I believe I'm not so good at speaking, what have I allowed myself to believe about myself in that area. So I hope that makes sense for you, and I'm more than happy if you want to, type out some questions as we go. But I invite you today to think about any area of your life, because guess what? This particular topic will bring you some value, hopefully, in any area that you choose. So pick any area that you want to get better in. I want to present three simple ideas, three very simple ideas that hopefully will help you to reshape, or what I call reset, some of your BS, your belief systems, to create better neural pathways for yourself for the future. Because if you weren't so good with numbers up to a certain stage, you might want to dive down and see what made you believe that you were not so good with numbers. Now, let's maybe try and reformat that. So let's reset some of those belief systems so I start to have some success in future areas of life. Let me give you a very easy example. The first check, I call it start with your heart. And what I want to kind of add here is, a lot of people say, well, these are very strong beliefs. I have very strong beliefs that I'm not good at communication, or I have a very strong belief that I'm not good at finance. Well, where did that come from? Who said that to you? Who spoke that into your life? And why did you believe that? A lot of the times we tend to believe things that people tell us, and we tend to store them up in two places, in our mind and in our heart. And what's really interesting is they become a very deep-seated belief system. Now, I want to tell you a very, very interesting thing about our brains, and I hope you remember this. Your brain cannot distinguish between the truth and a lie. Are you with me? Let's say that one more time. Your brain cannot distinguish between a truth and a lie. Your brain just believes whatever you tell it. So if you tell your brain enough times that you're walking to an investors conference and you keep saying to yourself, oh, I don't know why, but I'm not feeling so good about this, then your brain will believe it. Your brain will not stop and say, don't worry, I got this, you got this. Your brain will just say, you're right, you don't feel good about this. Now let's release the emotions, either for success or for failure. How powerful is that, right? So this is why beliefs can be so incredible. Check your heart. Start with your heart. What are some fundamental things you've allowed yourself to believe about yourself? Now, in these particular sessions that I spoke about, leadership sessions, we had a very interesting thing. You find that in every leadership session, and a lot of you, I'm sure, have gone through a lot of different leadership programs, right? Why are they so interesting? It's because just like you're attending this, this forum, this innovation forum, this WIForum, you are choosing to make yourself better. Now, I call this start with the heart because every single one of our leaders want to make themselves better. That's why they come onto a leadership program. Now, I remind them at those programs that they were born a champion. And immediately when I say those words, here's a very interesting subject. Most of them have an eye roll. Most of them have an eye roll moment. Most of them don't want to believe me. And what's absolutely interesting here is I choose a particular psychometric that I work with above every other psychometric. Now, I've done the usual. I've done the Myers-Briggs, I've done the DISC, I've done all these different assessments. I'm not knocking them. They all have their place. But I choose to use a very powerful psychometrics called a strengths finder. Now, many of you, and you can actually share if you've been there, many people have started to use this tool. But why do I choose it above all the others? It's because it's a great reminder that you were born a champion. Remember I told you most people eye roll when I say born a champion? Well, that's because most people have forgotten that they were created a champion. I have this story in the TEDx, and I invite you to go and take a look at it when you've got a moment, of course. And it's called the same topic today. It's called Check Your BS for Success. And I say that every single person is born a winner. You won a race before you even came into existence. And that's a very biological lesson. So I'd invite you to Google that if you don't know what I'm talking about already. But if you do, and if you're smiling, it's a great reminder that you won a giant race before you even came into existence. In fact, you won, there were hundreds of others competing, but you won that race. All of you were born as champions. And the more you as entrepreneurs have that mindset, wow, the ideas you're going to produce that are going to shape, change communities, change your countries, change your nations, and then, of course, change the world. I was really inspired by Axel's opening slides that talked about these moments in time, these people that decided to launch these ideas, even though people didn't have a need for it. Imagine what those people thought about themselves. Do you think they thought, okay, I was born a champion? You would think they had that mindset, right? The good news is all of us are born a champion. Every single person walking the planet today is born a champion. The sad thing is we've forgotten about it. So I use the Strengths Finder, and I say, guys, go ahead, take that test, and you will, without a doubt, you will be reminded that you were born a champion, and start with a mindset for success. I want you to look very carefully at the slide that I'm using right now. And it's such a powerful reminder. The Strengths Finder test actually reminds you that you have a very unique set of strengths and abilities. Now, the Strengths Finder test is run by an organization called Gallup. So if you've never taken one, I would advise you go ahead and take one. You know, it's not expensive. It's a very small, I think it's $20 or something to take the test. But I would say take it because it's a great reminder of the top strengths, abilities you were gifted, created with, born with. I'm saying this with absolute determination. And why I'm saying this is because Gallup has been able to prove, with all the extensive data they collect, that the odds of somebody having the same strengths as you is about 1 in 33 million. Now, how amazing is that? It means that there's genuinely only one of you. There's, on the planet, 1 in 33 million are amazing odds. It means that you are so unique, that the strengths that you were born with are so different from another person that they're unique for you. Now, what if you stepped into those strengths and discovered your calling, and discovered, that there were these abilities gifted to you so you could do something with it to change your life for the better, change your world for the better, to change your community for the better. So hopefully that's made you smile. So 1 in 33 million, I love that. All right, number 2. I talk about changing your focus and your feed. Now, this is a powerful one because everything that I'm presenting to you resonated in such a massive way with our most senior leaders. So I hope that it resonates with you as well in some way, shape, or form. The focus and the feed refer to you protecting 3 key areas that build your belief systems every single day. Remember, I said to you, your belief systems are built by just what you've taken through your eyes, what you've allowed yourself to believe, what you've taken through some of the words you say, and what you've taken through into your heart or into your ear gates. What I want to let you know is that these belief systems that you have in place for certain areas of your life that are bringing you success or failure, they don't come from nowhere. They come from just living life. They come from the people you surround yourself with. They come from a classroom, maybe a teacher. They come from a parent or a close relative. They come from your closest friends. They also come from the things you choose to do every single day. And you can either get better in some areas, or you could get worse in some areas. But hopefully today I'll be able to draw your attention to some 3 or 4 key things that you can start to do immediately every day. The first one here is, what are you taking in through your eyes? I put a picture of these books here, and that's a little bit of a reminder that, when we talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, a big thing that came out was a lot of entrepreneurs love to read. Now that makes sense because, hey, if you're somebody that wants to generate ideas, you're going to want to, get into articles. You're going to want to read the right content. I'm going to say, hopefully leave you with one lesson. Make sure you're reading the right content. All right. I put this up on screen called, it's something to remind myself. It's the fear of living once. I want to live, as I'm living this life, this precious God-given life, I want to live it the right way. I want to live it reading the right content. So my advice to you today is, whatever you read, if it's not inspiring you, if it's not generating the right emotions, put it down and pick up another book. Read another article. See, life's too short to spend time reading the wrong books and reading the wrong content. So pick books, pick materials, pick articles, pick TV shows, for goodness sake, that are generating the right emotions in you. See, a lot of people will spend 5 or 6 hours watching a TV show or watching a Netflix show, and hey, no condemnation here. If you want to binge, you can binge, but binge right. Okay, there is good content out there. Spend some time focusing on the right content. People will genuinely watch a show even if it's making them anxious. It's unreal. It was proven that you can actually get PTSD just from watching the news. Now you think about what's been played out over the news again and again over the last couple of weeks. And I want you to remember that the scenes that have been played out on the news can actually cause the same symptoms in your body. Can you believe that? And that itself should scare us into maybe stop watching the news that much. I actually call it switch off CNN. Again, not the channel, but constant negative news. A lot of us watch the news once, then we watch it again, and we watch it again, and it's the exact same headlines played so many times in our brain, it starts to build a belief system. It starts to build, a neural pathway that is difficult to remap. So be very careful what you're letting in. What are you listening to? If you're listening to a podcast, but it's not generating good emotions, it's not making you happy, it's not bringing life to you, then stop it. Choose a different podcast. If you're watching the news, watch it once, then switch off, and then watch it again tomorrow if you want. But don't spend 3 hours watching the news. No joy is going to come from that. The right emotions are certainly not going to come from that. The right behavior is not going to come from that. Now, you'll notice that I said emotions and behavior. It's because, believe it or not, when a thought enters, the next things that follow are your emotions and your behavior. So if something that you're reading, listening to is not producing the right emotions, that's a great indicator to tell you to stop and switch off and switch on to something more positive and something that is bringing you life. All right, keeping an eye on time here. The last one kind of to leave you with is to talk about multiple mentors. Now, this is a really interesting one, but a lot of people and a lot of leaders that we talk to, they talk about the importance and the power of mentors. I agree 100%. But what I want to kind of remind you today is that you don't just have to have one. A lot of people go through life. It's kind of insane, but a lot of people go through life thinking, this is the one thing that I need to do, and that's it. When you're an entrepreneur, yes, I agree that you have the one thing, and you're called to do the one thing, and that's great. But there's so many things that can help you get the one thing even better or to another level you didn't dream about. See, when we're given relationships, we're put on a planet with so many people surrounding us because they're going to add value to our lives. So don't just have the same friends that are dragging you down. Perhaps don't just have the same mentor, have many. All right, develop great relationships, have many friends, and not just the one friend, have a few. This is in no way trying to get you to change a lot of things, but I just want you to keep in mind that ideas, when you have ideas can go to another level, then another level, then another level if you share them, if you speak about them. Don't put too much emphasis on the word mentor, being somebody that's been around, done that, lived the dream. No, a mentor is a friend relationship. A mentor is just somebody that you can hang with, somebody you can be real with. Somebody you can be real with, all right? Somebody you can just pour out to, somebody you can share ideas with, somebody that you can trust. Have a few, don't just have one. Also, you're not just called to do the one thing, you're called to do many things that can lead to the one thing being even greater. And who knows, it's not just about living for the one idea. You probably have many other ideas, right? Case in point, many entrepreneurs over our time started with one thing and ended up with something completely different. So hopefully that inspires you today as well. But keep in mind, your closest contacts can be many different people. It doesn't have to be the same ones. Be very careful of negative voices drowning out your ideas, right? That's why I want to encourage you to have many mentors. All right. Last one for today is check your words and your world. And this is such a powerful one. And I really hope that it brings you a lot of success the moment you catch it. I want to give you a challenge. I want you to walk through your day and I want you to just pay attention to the words that are coming out of your mouth. It seems easy, right? But I invite you to do that. I actually challenge you to do that. Walk through your day and listen to some of the words that you're speaking to yourself. Now, some of you are thinking, well, I don't talk to myself. Yes, you do. There's a constant dialogue in your mind that you sometimes, either are open to vocalize or open not to vocalize. What I mean by that is just pay attention to what's coming out of your mouth. What are you saying to the people that are in your house? What are you saying to the people you work with? What are some things you're saying even to yourself in your study time or in your reading time or when you're watching something or when you're hanging with your kids? Whatever it is, Check your words because you check your words because they start to change your world or the surroundings around you. Here's a really easy one to remember. A lot of the times we start to sound really negative. IKEA conducted this amazing experiment in 2018, and a few universities have done this around the world, where they had 2 sets of plants installed all across the UAE, and they invited children to go up and speak to the plant, right? But they invited children to speak life into one plant, and they invited children to speak curses or death onto another plant. So almost bully the second plant. So the kids would go up every morning and say, you got to one plant, they would say, you're going to grow, you're going to prosper, you're going to bear fruit, you're going to be blessed, you're going to be green, your leaves are going to bloom. And to the other one, they would say, you're going to die, you're going to, I curse you, and you're going to drop dead. What's insane is the plants were given the same amount of water and air and perfect conditions, but in a month from there, these were the results. Now, what's amazing is every time you speak, you're speaking over your own life. Remember that, right? And you're also speaking to the lives of people around you. This is such a powerful thing because it'll start to shape your own belief systems. Yes, you all have an idea as entrepreneurs. Yes, you want to do great things with that idea. But your words could kill that idea. Your own words could kill that idea, not even another person's. Your own words could kill your own idea. So be very careful about what you're saying. If you have a habit of saying, oh no, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that, be careful of that because your brain believes it. Remember, the brain can't distinguish between a truth and a lie. So the brain just believes it. If you say, I can't do this, the brain says, you're right, you can't. And that's it. It becomes your operating system. It becomes your BS, your belief systems. Another great one is, I love this one. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. That's a really cool one to kind of round off the plant experiment, right? You could be speaking life into your ideas, and you could be speaking death into your ideas. Your ideas have life, and you can either speak good things over those ideas and shape them, or you could kill them, So it's really up to you. Watch your own words because you can change your world. I love this last one. A lot of people tend to say that's just who I am, and I love this, right? Because if you've ever said to yourself, that's just who I am, I want you to start laughing out loud where you are, right? If you've ever said this to yourself, join the club. I have. A lot of people have. What's really amazing is we say this to our closest and most loved ones. We say this to our closest friends. Oh no, that's just who I am. No, I don't like that. That's just me. I don't like hanging with people. That's just me. I'm an introvert. That's just me. I'm an introvert. It's unbelievable, right? Hopefully, if you've been listening to the message today, that's gonna stop you from building great relationships. That's gonna stop you from meeting new people that will buy into your idea and take it to the next level. That's gonna stop you from sharing your idea with millions. Okay, so really watch. That's just who I am is the most self-limiting thing you can say about yourself to yourself. Stop it and start to build some really positive belief systems. So you don't just have one calling, you don't just have one idea, you can have several. You're not just called to be the inventor of this idea, but you're called to be maybe a dad in the process. You're called to be a great husband in the process if you get married, or a great wife if you get married. You're called to be a great mom if you get married. You have many callings. Don't just limit yourself. Weed out the self-limiting talk and see your success grow. I want to leave you with this thought, and it's a powerful thought, but it's it's the at the beginning of any flight, the flight attendant will normally say to people, in the event of an emergency, oxygen masks will drop from the ceiling. Be sure to put yours on first. And a lot of the time you think, come on, that's crazy. If there's a child next to me, I'm gonna help the child first. But there's a reason they say that. The reason is if you don't take care of yourself first, you're gonna be incapacitated. You're gonna be unable to help somebody else. So make a commitment to yourself that every morning you're going to feed your belief systems with the right talk, with the right beliefs. People do it, in an interview conducted with the most successful people in the world, and listen to success. Success doesn't mean money, right? It doesn't mean a ton of money. Although in today's context, we tend to believe that. Success can be through family, through right relationships, through a great relationship with God, through worship. People dedicate time to build these belief systems, both spiritual, mental, physical. There's many realms for every single person. So invest in that every day. Work your body, work your soul, your emotions by reading the right stuff, by dwelling on the right stuff, through prayer, through whatever works right for you. And then and you'll see yourself literally start to shape your own belief systems and create tremendous success for the future. I call it moving from BS to BS, being your best self. I want to stop there and thank you again for the time that you've given me. I know it's close to it's probably 1 minute to the time I've been given, but I really wish that all of you can become your best selves, which is completely possible if you start to reset some of those belief systems. Connect with me if you like on Instagram, or if you want to check out the talk on YouTube, you can as well. Once again, thanks everybody for having me, and I'm going to take my slides off screen right now, if that's okay.
Thank you very much, Michael, for those very powerful and positive messages. Also, I think everyone agrees the image of the plant experiment is also one that you don't tend to forget too quickly. One of those things that you can look in also to yourself. So thanks very much for both the picture view, but also the very practical advice, waking up in the morning, making sure that you've got positive messages throughout your day. Okay, so that was Michael Vass talking about checking your